Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. So let's begin here on Ripple.com. They have an article here. It's titled, Bring Your NFTs to Life on the XRP Ledger. It says Ripple's Creator Fund is a $250 million commitment to help creators bring their NFT projects to the market. Okay, let's stop right there. I see every regular NFT that they're trying to deploy on the XRP or rather NFT project as a test run. That's it. XRP is about big money. Make no mistake about it. So what do I believe that they're test running everything for and setting up all this infrastructure for under the guise of, hey, we just want to get into the NFT community like everyone else? Absolutely not. That's not what Ripple does. Ripple goes after the big money. So I believe that this is all a test run for the tokenization of debt. You've heard a lot of big minds talk about this in crypto. A lot of brilliant minds talk about this over the last year or so. And I believe that's what they're going after. The tokenization of debt, the tokenization of everything, of course. But listen, the global debt, as I put in the members only section, they were able to look at some things over the last few days. But the global debt is somewhere around $300 trillion. All right, that's big money. Buying and selling of debt is big money. So people want to get in on that. And once it hits the distributed ledger technologies, so much more money is going to be made off of that. It's going to be so much easier. Not only that, to move that value around at fractions of the cost, near instantaneously. This is the type of thing that they're preparing for. The tokenization of debt, the tokenization of real estate value. You have all of that moving in, of course. But right now, the real estate's not doing so good right now. I think they're, I read somewhere, maybe it was in California, they're down like minus 21 or something like that. So it's taking a bit of a hit. There's a lot of supply in real estate right now, but the demand is down, of course, because people are not doing well around the world. The economies have been, devastated for the most part. So, like all industries, the real estate industry is having a bit of a problem, but I do expect them to bounce back. Hopefully we can get some problems resolved, but that's going to be tokenized as well. And I like to throw in those little pieces of information just in case you want to do some research on real estate. You're thinking about getting into it. Then you have to know that once you make that value illiquid, then, what's the likelihood that you'll be able to extract that liquidity or that value if you need to. So I throw that stuff out there so that it could spark the mind. A lot of what I do, I'm trying to spark the minds of the people, and hopefully that can lead you somewhere, if that path is for you. So, but that's what this is about, in my humble opinion. The tokenization of real estate, the tokenization of debt, $300 trillion. There's so much that's going to be happening on the XRPL. Also, there was an article I had, I don't have it pulled up anymore, but they're also going to be getting into music, just like Algorand. But I did look up music. I wanted to know what was the total worth of music because I want to know the numbers, the money, right? So in 2021, oh wait, sorry about that. That's the global debt. Let me see if I still have the music industry money pulled up here. Well, I don't have it pulled up, but I'll tell you what it was. It was somewhere around, it was like maybe $30 billion they made. It was a 2021, something like that. 50 billion. It was not more than $100 billion, something like that. I'll put up a little blurb somewhere on the screen about how much money is in the music industry and music licensing and such. Compared to other numbers that we look at, that's not as much as the trillions of dollars in B2B payments, things of that nature. $300 trillion of debt, real estate value. This is not as much as that, but still it's a good amount of money and it's consistency. That's what we want also is volume because it makes that price skyrocket, right? So we need volume as well as value. We need both of those, right? So while it's, is less than $100 billion a year, it's still pretty good to bring that to the XRPL and have that consistent volume. And hopefully, because the music industry will be making more money once everything is, your artists are able to sell their albums and products for more money, saving more money. They have more money to play around with, reallocate. Then that industry will grow. So that money is going to grow. So right now, what XRP and XRPL and all the other blockchains are like, they're sort of like water, watering the seeds. And we're hoping that the seeds are going to grow because they have been properly taken care of. And so that a lot of that money around the world is going to grow. So I believe that's what this is a setup for, the tokenization of everything. Also keep in mind, a lot of times I talk about real estate, I might reference something in the United States, but we're talking about real estate around the world. Remember, that value around the world is going to be able to move across the XRPL. What does it do to that price? Now, one of the biggest regions, I was just reading an article here, I think I may have posted it in the members only section, is one of the biggest regions that I think is going to benefit from that are tourist locations and burgeoning economies, what they call EMEs, emerging economies, right? Like, for example, in Southeast Asia, which we know XRPL is there. They're building there. You know, Stellar is also there. Lightnet, they're building in that region as well. There's a lot of good real estate, a lot of good land out there that value I expect to move across the bank coins. A lot of businesses are going to be running on them, I believe. Remember, when it comes at least to Stellar and Lightnet, Lightnet is connected to so many businesses in the Southeast Asia region. You know, then they had like thousands of 7-Elevens. One of the investors, the main investors or founders or something like that of Lightnet, has over 7,000 7-Elevens in Japan. So, you know, listen, all of that region, all of that area from Southeast Asia to Japan to, I mean, just everywhere. They're all going to be benefiting, and there's going to be a lot of that value moving across the XRPL as well when it comes to debt, when it comes to tourism money, sorry about that, when it comes to real estate value. And this is what I believe that they're setting up for. And I think they're doing a really good job. And so, you know, when you have trillions and, you add all this money up and you have trillions and trillions of dollars, the possibility of flowing across the XRPL, does the XRP price stay at 35 cents? Does it stay at $1? Does it stay at $2? I don't think so. I think it's going to go much higher than that, in my humble opinion. So then we have an article here. This is on Algorand, Algorand.foundation. And I just want to read this little tidbit here, because I think Algorand is going to do extremely well with absorbing a lot of what's coming from other blockchains like Ethereum, okay? The Algorand Foundation today announces the award of an Oracle Super Grant to Teller to implement the Teller Oracle protocol on the Algorand network. Teller on Algorand is a secure, decentralized, and easy to use re-implementation of Teller on Ethereum for the Algorand network. So once again, they're taking something from Ethereum, they're bringing them over. Remember, Algorand also has a much, in my humble opinion, much better NFT ecosystem than Ethereum. Their fees are lower. The ease of use is much better also. So I think they're going to continue to take a lot from Ethereum over the years. Smart contracts are much better on Algorand. It's much more secure, in my humble opinion. So, and then also keep in mind that at one time, Algorand offered to help Ethereum when Ethereum's having a lot of problems, and people want that upgrade. They want to move on from whatever Ethereum is built on now to something else, proof of stake, whatever is going to be. Algorand said, hey, listen, we can help you out. I don't know what came about from that, but I don't think that Ethereum took Algorand up on that offer. So, but Algorand can do that because they know they are the future. They know that they're going to dominate in that. If you're competing, you're looking competitively at Ethereum and Algorand, that Algorand can absolutely dominate Ethereum. Also keep in mind, because I've read an article also that said, well, Algorand is not the most popular, it's not, the most popular crypto out there, blockchain out there. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. They have great advertising they've been doing. Billboards in New York, billboards in Texas, across the world. They have their thing, NFTs and advertisements in the major zoo in Australia. So they are beginning heavy advertisement, and that's now before mass adoption. Just imagine what's going to happen when there's mass adoption. So that's what I take from this, is that Algorand is stepping more into the Ethereum territory and taking and absorbing, and they're ready to absorb more from Ethereum. They are definitely a major competitor. I expect them to dominate, as Ethereum over the years, I believe, will die. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I think Ethereum has a few more explosions left in it, but as far as price, but I think eventually they get dominated by Algorand or Hedera. And both of those organizations, Hedera Foundation, Algorand Foundation, have been taking off like a rocket as far as expansion and growth. And anytime you have this type of exponential growth from blockchains during a bear market, two things. You can only imagine how much more they're going to grow when there's a bull market. That's number one. Number two, if they grew this much exponentially during the bear market, then you can expect the prices to be able to There's no guarantees. I'm not a financial advisor. That's not financial advice. But you can only imagine that that price can go much higher now because they're in more regions. They have more businesses utilizing them. So you have that as well. Okay, so now let's go on to this next article here. It says, Algorand Foundation CEO Stacey Warden on how Algorand is going to distinguish itself in the bear market. I think they already have, in my humble opinion. Just all the work that they've been doing. There's only a few blockchains that have expanded as much as Algorand. And like I just said, you have Algorand, then another one is Hedera, then another one is VeChain, and then of course Ripple and XRP. Those are the ones that I've seen that have expanded the most. Like they've been thriving in this bear market. So this was the article here that was saying that Algorand is not the most popular. But here's a quote. It says, quote, "We have the best tech in crypto." And I think a lot of people would acknowledge that, Warden says. She cites the Algorand's roughly 1,000 transactions per second and 4.5 second settlement time, which, by the way, I've experienced faster than that. When I want to move Algorand around, it's almost instant, boom. Like as soon as I send it, it's there. But that's just my experience. It says, which the development team hopes to increase to 10,000 transactions per second and 2.5 second settlement time by the end of the year. If you remember last year, I was telling people that they're going to continue to improve, continue to increase and get faster and faster, right? And here you have it. Algorand has never rested on its laurels, taken a break. They have been the hungriest of the companies. Even before Hedera started its rapid expansion and Ripple started becoming more hungry with its expansion this year, Algorand was already doing that in January and February. They were constantly putting out articles on partnerships and deals and things they were doing with NFTs, growing their NFT sphere, hiring a powerhouse team. They have one of the strongest teams, if not the strongest team. I say they're right there with Ripple, to be quite honest, as one of the strongest teams in all of crypto. So yeah, I think they're distinguished just based on that, those points there. It's the Stacey Warden effect. So now let's move on to this article here, the H-Bar Foundation. It says Porini Foundation brings nature collectibles to the carbon negative Hedera network. Now, why is this important? So number one, they're getting in good with the banks. Okay, we know Hedera is lined up. They work with a number of banks already. They were tested recently by one of the largest banks in South Africa by assets. All right, so to move currency around like that. So I think they issued their stable coin or tested their stable coin on Hedera. So we know that they are involved with the banks. So this shines a good light on them. They are carbon negative. However, when you read a little deeper into this article, you find out that they're going to be raising money. Now, the green agenda is huge right now. So if they're raising money, and this organization claims to have 1,400 members of this organization, if all of them are raising money using Hedera or pooling their money into this for the green initiatives and such like that, that's a good amount of money that could be moving across Hedera. Now, with as much respect as Hedera has, H-Bar has, that's only going to grow, right? So you're going to have Google doing certain things with H-Bar, Hedera. You're going to have IBM is using Hedera. You have Boeing, FIS. Don't ever forget FIS with all the banks that they bring to the table. This is a good thing that they're doing here, that they're, it's going to bring a good amount of volume, in my humble opinion. It also shines a good light on them, makes them look good. So this also carries over to retail. You have a lot of retail investors that are, they're very much on board with the green initiative. So they can they can send their money here to this cause. They can buy some of these NFTs, whatever it's going to be. So it brings a little bit more value to Hedera. And that's always a good thing, in my humble opinion. So, okay, let's move on to this next article here. Right, and this is from gtreview.com. TradeTQ launches trade finance assets marketplace for buy-side investors. So we got a little XDC, a little Zenfin news. Let's read this a little bit here. It says, originally launched in 2018, TradeTQ's central offering is a cloud-based platform which allows originators to package trade finance products into standardized investments that can be bought and sold through private distribution networks and settled like common fixed income products. And so once again, you're going to have all of this trade finance. We're talking trillions and trillions of dollars flowing across these blockchains. It says here, the lack of a secondary trading market has left many corporates underserved when it comes to funding, contributing to a trade finance gap, the shortfall between supply and demand of an estimated $1.7 trillion trade finance. Imagine $1.7 trillion or even a small modicum of that, like a small amount of that, moving across XDC, Zenfin. Right now, keep in mind, XDC is used for transaction fees, if not outright as a settlement token itself. But everything that happens on Zenfin has to utilize XDC as a transaction for transaction fees, right? But I mean, for transaction fees, similar to how it works with XLM. $1.7 trillion. Do you believe that price is going to stay at 2 cents, 3 cents for XDC? And also, just think about this for a moment. People have been scooping up a ton of XDC because it's only 2 cents, right? So people are it doesn't take a crazy price at this point for people to make a disgusting amount of money from XDC. But you see the industries that they're in, trade finance is huge. Also, that's another thing. So just going back to XRP, Ripple is trying to do some things in trade finance as well. So I mean, at this point, the bank coins just can't lose, in my humble opinion. The setup is absolutely beautiful. Right, so let's move on here. Oh, that was my last article here. I just had this last little piece on the global debt, but we already covered that at the beginning, so everything's looking good. Oh, let me throw this in last about Stellar and XLM. I was reading an article, like I said, I believe I posted it in the members only section, so hit that join button down below, go over there, read some articles over there, but Southeast Asian region is going to explode. XLM is in there deep because of LightNet. They've had years to build now in that region. Also, LightNet was also testing HBAR Hedera at one point. So, you know, we'll wait to see how all of this, you know, turns out. But imagine how many transactions are going to be coming out of these particular regions where they want to shirk the SWIFT system, but they have a lot of money to move around because there's you know, businesses they have overseas. Some people live overseas. They're sending money back and forth. You have tourism. You have what do you call it when the people go to live there? And you have the digital nomads. There you go. Sorry about that. You have the digital nomad, the advent of the digital nomad now. So people are making money from different countries. They want to send things around. They're sending money to their families. Tourism, if I didn't say that already. All of this is going to be flowing across XLM, the Stellar blockchain, theoretically speaking, if everything goes according to plan. So you have this high volume and high value moving across Stellar. And you have all of these other things. So you have CBDs on Stellar. You have, you know, there's so much payroll on Stellar. So what does it do to that price? This is what people have to look at. We're talking trillions and trillions of dollars that can be accessed. Of course, we'll wait. We're very logical beings, so we're going to wait to see how everything turns out. But so far, looking at the data, looking at the research, you know, reading PDFs, transcripts, things of that, directly from the businesses themselves, from the governments themselves, from the central banks, we're reading it directly from them. So far, everything has been looking extremely good. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.